Hi friends, I'm Dionisaf, ambient sound and visual artist, and today we will talk about field recordings. Field recordings are one of fundamental parts of ambient culture. For example, Brian Eno, who actually is a legend of ambient music, when he started his music experiments, and nobody knows even this word ambient or environmental music, one of things what he did, it was combining of recordings with environmental sounds on two reel-to-reel players. And today almost every artist at least once or maybe many times used field recordings in his music. Some of artists even don't use anything, only field recordings, but we are talking about musical composition with elements of environmental. And I leave some links under this video on my music with using field recordings and some other artists. And what you need to know if you want to start do field recordings and use it in your music. Field recordings, it's not only sounds of nature. For example, it can be sounds of city, like my album New York Environments. It's all sounds of different parts of New York, subway, Central Park, Times Square, and it sometimes can be sounds even from your apartment, for example, sounds of paper or water in your bathroom. It can be absolutely unacceptable sounds, but in music it can give us some new impressions. And for making field recordings, you first need to have a recorder. Of course, today we live in modern era of digital technologies. That's why I recommend to use a digital recorder. But I am sometimes, when I'm looking for some lo-fi sounds, using this recorder with a cassette recorder together. And if you get some good quality sounds, you always can mix it, cut it, and do everything with your recordings how you like. Couple simple rules of using this for field recordings. If you're recording outside, for example in forest or on the street, always use a protector for wind, because even if you think that it's no wind outside and it's quiet weather, it doesn't mean that you can get some noises from even your breath. That's why it's always nice to use something like this for recording outside. And also sometimes you can move your finger and make some extra noises. You even sometimes don't listen it in your headphones while you're recording, but when you go back to your studio, you will find some clicks or hissing. And for protect your recording process, I recommend to use something like this, for example, what I use. And it's why I like this, because sometimes I want to record a bird's song very high on the tree, and I can use it for make my hand much longer, higher, for example like this. Or for example sometimes in the water you want to record closer sound of, for example, small fountain, but you can go to water, of course, and you can use this. Or if you want to record something stable for a long time, you can use tripod, when you can fix your recorder and even leave out from this place and keep recording. It's simple rules of using this small but very powerful recorder. Of course, you can buy something more expensive, but if you're just starting to do that, I don't recommend to buy too expensive stuff, because sometimes it's hard to get nice sound from complicated gear if you don't know how to use it. That's why I recommend to buy something cheaper. For example, this Handley recorder Zoom H1N, it's costs not more than $100, and you can buy it and try your first steps in environment sound hunting. And one of important part of field recordings for me, and it's developing your listening. It's called clairaudience, when you listening so carefully and you can feel environment sounds very deep. When you start to listening careful, you will understand that so many noise pollution in the city and close to city, even in forest. Sometimes when I go to trails and try to record some bird songs, I feel disappointed, because I hear also noise of cars far away from there, but still hearing. And of course, sometimes I can't go far enough to find some pure sound of nature, for example. And that's why it's so important to use equalizer in your studio when you're preparing your field recordings. For example, bird song is usually very high frequencies. That means you don't need to low frequencies, and you can cut them. And most of noise pollution from far away from streets or highway, it's very low, and you can cut them and leave only high and middle frequencies to hear sounds of birds. Of course, some of field recorders, people who are doing it professionally, they use some monitors for protect recorder and can go far away on the nature for a long time to hunting on sounds. But for regular practice, it's sometimes not acceptable. So, to sum up, use an equalizer, don't hold a recorder in your hands, and don't forget about the windscreen. Windscreen, I mean this small thing for protect your mics from wind. And these 3 simple rules. Subscribe to my channel, please like this video. You can find some albums with a lot of field recordings under this video. Have a good one.